It was just like any other day for Carl as he was walking home from school with Jimmy.
So,
Carl began.
how's everything? Everything at home okay? I know everything's okay at school, so...
Everything's good at home and everywhere else, but there's a stupid time machine theory. Leonard from the science club says that it can't be done, but I'll show him who can build a portable time booth,
Said Jimmy. Then he just ran off to his lab, probably to gawk at Cindy's yearbook signature in private, Carl thought. He went inside his best friend's house to wait for him in the kitchen. There, he found Miss Neutron baking pies like always. Carl smiled. He had always had a monster crush on Judy. Miss Neutron. Judy. For what seemed like ages. Now that he was full into his teen years, he realized that he didn't only just have a crush on her, but he was in love.
Hi, Mrs. Neutron. Wow, that smells great as usual.
He exaggerated. He laughed. That boy had always been very confident. It's nice knowing that he was appreciated by someone. And he had grown up to be such a handsome young man. Oh, so handsome. A bit taller than her. Freckles all cleared up. All that baby fat's turned into lean muscular.
Where is Mr. Neutron?
He's away on a business trip this month. I'm sending him my pies because he doesn't like the ones from the hotel he's at. So how are you?
She said, biting her lip at the thought of him
Take a
pouncing.
few for the road.
Part of her mind scolded her for even thinking such things. The other part was hoping for a small escape from being the proper housewife.
Oh, is he now? It's too bad.
He said that she saw
I already read it.
it was occurring to him that this may be his only chance to have the one woman he desired in the whole world.
Didn't I sound
Getting
like
so close to her. It was getting unbearable to be so close to her not doing anything. He set his glasses down on the counter next to her hand, still getting nearer and nearer to her. She felt his heat and something else. Lust, maybe? Rolling off in waves, he blushed a bright red. That wild part of her mind was hoping he'd do what she thought he was going to do. He was about to seize the moment when Jimmy came in the back door.
Hey, Mom, I need some aluminum plating for the time hurl mechanism. What are you doing? Hey, Carl, I thought you went home already.
A much shaken Miss Neutron tried to steady herself against the counter, only for her hand to find the still 350-degree pie filling.
Oh, Jesus! Oh!
God, Mom, are you okay? That's a nasty bird. I think I'll have something for that. I'll go get it.
No!
Exclaimed Carl.
I mean, I have something with me now. Here's the burn ointment.
Thanks for helping me out, man.
Jimmy said.
Say, Carl, why'd you have that in the first place?
A little puzzled at his friend's almost Boy Scout preparedness, though he could have guessed.
Wow, my mom makes me carry it around as a just-in-case kind of thing.
Said the spectacled sporting friend. He knew it. It was either that or one of those I don't have a problem excuses.
Well, alright, well, it's great that you're okay and all, but I have to get back to the Time Jump 2000. Awesome neighbor, what? Huh? Bye, Bob! See you later, Carl!
Before anyone had time to say anything else, he was long gone. For a while there was silence. Miss Neutron was sitting at the table swinging her bandage. Well, she thought it was nice to dream, just not to act. That would make her feel so guilty cheating on her husband with someone so young. Jimmy's friend even. Just felt wrong. Made her feel that much more miserable that they didn't even do anything. She would just have to get over these feelings somehow. That didn't seem possible.
Well, I should probably be getting home,
Said Carl, lilting his voice like the statement with a question. It snapped her out of her reproachful musing.
Oh, yes, you do that. Have a nice day, young man.
She smiled. To her surprise, his face fell in disappointment.
Goodbye, Judy.
Sounds so old, mature. That last part he whispered under his breath as he shuffled out of the door. One day, he saw with a sigh.
One day, I tell you.
Where things heat up.
1 month later.
Judy couldn't believe she had lasted so long against such a formidable temptation. Mostly she thanked the distractions that would come along and snap her back to reality. That reality that he was young enough to be her son. That he was her son's best friend. She felt two arms wrap around her waist suddenly.
C minus.
She stopped herself, but before she said the name. Don't give her. This is an idea of that. Oh my god. It doesn't work.
I guess it's
now.
supposed to be like K.
That's
It looks like a C minus.
You get C minus.
You can see. Hey, sugar booger.
said a familiar male voice. She turned around to find that it was her husband, Hugh.
Okay.
He had finally come back. She gave him the biggest hug she had ever given in their marriage.
Whoa, easy there with that knife in your hand.
Hug said. Like saying it.
I love hug.
Okay.
Sounds more like a barbarian.
Hug, hug us.
Hug.
Hug.
Were you making pot pie? My favorite. Also Jim Jam. It must be in that labby thing he has there. See ya.
Hey, Fred.
Knife!
Oh, I guess you do that.
Yeah, I guess I'll read the thoughts.
You gotta do
How
like
had he known about the pot pie? Oh!
the ingredients were all lined up, except for the chicken. Judy went after her husband to ask for chicken money.
Chicken money.
Chicken money.
Chicken some money, please.
I've got some backup money for the chicken.
Give that chicken some money, please.
And suddenly he was right in front
That
of her.
chicken has hiccups.
She felt something warm spreading over her right arm to her waist. What was it? She shoved Hugh off of her to see what the warmth was. Carl decided to try once more what had become his mission in life, to touch her lips of He walked up to the front door and knocked 3 times.
Maybe the day.
The very phrase he had uttered to himself every day he came over. Only this time he actually believed it. He reached for the knob and found that the door was open.
Oh, J minus.
Stop the small spectacle. Judy, knife in hand, and a bleeding Mr. Neutron on the floor.
Oh no.
I'm dead.
It's not what it looks like.
He started to say. Carl raised his hand, signaling her for him to be quiet. A few moments later, he said to get Mr. Neutron's feet.
Get Mr. Neutron's feet.
Took him through the back door and lay him in the yard.
Where's your shovel?
That sounds so serious. More 8s. 8 guy.
8.
I can never thank you enough for this.
Judy said. They were both inside the kitchen, with Carl leaning against the oven with his hands behind his head, looking quite statuesque, she notices.
Yeah.
And Judy preparing the pot pie with leftover pork. She had to keep up the charade for when Jimmy came in expecting dinner. She figured that if there was always food, the boy would suspect nothing.
Always a pleasure, love.
Carl said, closing his eyes. She put the pie in the oven, lowering the temperature.
Say, you are covered in blood. Don't you think that would look suspicious?
He pointed out in a half growl, half crude voice.
Yes. Oh,
Judy looked down at herself, seeing for the first time the dried blood on her arm and the half-dried blood on her dress. She clicked her tongue. What? Headed for the room. Once there, she made quick work of her dress and looked in her closet for another one. While browsing, she heard her door close. Oh boy. And footsteps headed in her direction. She pretended and continued to look. Then there was a sound like the rustling of clothes or soft touch. Seconds later, an arm wrapped around her waist.
You know. Your slip has blood on your toes, as do your underwear.
He slid his hand down her waist and started to pull her slip and panties off. He felt her taking a ragged breath and then left to lock her. He returned, there she was, on the bed.
On the bed!
On the bed!
Bow,
Oh,
bow.
my Went circles in the corner.
Bow.
He walked over to the edge and knelt by it. He bit his lip, trying to ease the blush at his cheeks.
I started it.
He thought.
I should finish it after all this time.
He reached over to her back to undo her bra, but found it was already undone. He pulled it off and gazed at her.
Bow, bow.